Welcome back to another video, everybody. Today we are talking all things holiday. We are doing a holiday gift guide. I'll be covering the different types of people that you might be buying for this year and some of my tried and true favorites that I think would be really great gifts across a bunch of different budgets and something I think a lot of people would love. So let's jump right in. So let's first start off with the foodie, the cook, the beverage drinker, etc. Now, Murphy and I definitely consider ourselves foodies. We love to go out and eat. We like to experiment in the kitchen occasionally, and we like quality things in our kitchen. I love getting curated gifts that feel like you really put thought into it, and one of those ways that can kind of transcend upon all of these categories is doing some sort of gift basket with a couple of items that make sense together. So the first being in this category would be like a food and drink combo. You could really kind of have a fun play with this. So for example, maybe buying a cookbook for a cuisine they really like. For example, we really like this Greek Islands cookbook, so I would maybe do a Greek cookbook and then maybe pair it with a Greek wine that they can drink while eating a dish that they make out of here, or some Greek ingredients like a Greek olive oil or some Greek oregano, something like that to kind of pair with their cooking experience. And you could really do that amongst a bunch of different cuisines. You could do like a Japanese ramen cookbook with a nice ramen bowl set and some chopsticks, a sushi making cookbook with some sushi ingredients. You can really have a nice fun play with it, but I think that would be fun, and you're kind of not only gifting something physically, but you're also giving them an experience that they can kind of cook through either alone, together, with friends, and so on. I think secondly to that, you can just get a cookbook in general, again, picking a favorite cuisine, or if they like to bake, doing a baking cookbook. I don't think anyone's ever mad if they get a cookbook, you know what I mean? But if you want something a little more intense for someone that is a little more heavy into cooking, I would definitely recommend The Food Lab. It's by Kenji Lopez, and he is a chef, and this is a much more technical cookbook. He talks a lot about ingredients and techniques, knives and certain things he thinks that you should have in a kitchen, and also it does have a bunch of recipes in here as well, but it is for a little bit more for the technical chef. It's quite a hefty one, but one of my chef friends actually recommended this to me a while ago, and he still references it when he is like using a technique that he doesn't use every day. So I really love this. Specifically, I make his roast potatoes all the time, and they're so good. So this is more for the technical chef in your life. A couple like kitchen utensil things. I think a really quality chopping board is a really great gift because they can be on the spendier side, and it's not always something someone wants to spend on themselves. Quality wood ones are really nice, and you could always pair that with a care kit for it so that they know how to take care of it. And similar to that, a nice cast iron pan is also a great gift. They last a lifetime, and they're so universal. You can cook so many things with them, and I think, again, if you didn't want to just get that, you can also pair that with some sort of guide on how to take care of it, how to season it, and so on. Now, if they also enjoy a nice cocktail or wine every now and then, I think you could also create a basket or buy items alone, but doing maybe a nice wine that they would like paired with either a nice wine opener. I've talked about this in a past holiday gift guide. This is my absolute favorite wine screw. This is from Le Creuset. Or you can get an air pump, and this, if you don't finish your wine, you put this in the top and it sucks the air out, and it clicks when it's all out so that it preserves your wine for longer. And we use these a lot as well. These are pretty inexpensive as well. If you were going the cocktail route, you could pick either one of their favorite cocktails or something new that you think that they would like, buy the ingredients, buy like a nice glass to go with it, and maybe put a little card of the instruction on how to make it, or buy like a cocktail book. I think that would be also a very nice gift. The final two here is a gift card to either like a food cooking experience or a restaurant that you know that they love and go to a lot, or somewhere that they've really been wanting to try. And finally, probably one of my favorites, and this is a duo. So first of all, any Japanese knives, they're the best quality and they last a really long time, and it's really changed the cooking experience ever since we got our Japanese knives, because the difference between using a dull knife and a Japanese knife on anything is insane. So I would recommend getting Japanese knives for people, and also a magnetic knife block is really nice. It looks really nice on the counter, and it's a good way to store your knives so that they're not getting chipped in a drawer. So there you have the gifts for a cook or the beverage drinker, whatever person you might have that would enjoy that category in your life. Moving on to the self-care enthusiast, this is probably one of my favorite categories. We'll start off with some face masks. This is always a great option, and a lot of sites like Ulta, Sephora, Space NK, Cult Beauty do travel size options, so if you're not quite sure like what types of skin they have or what they would like, you can always go for a travel size. But some of my favorites are, for sheet masks, the Metacube. This is the PDRN Pink Collagen Gel Mask. You can leave these on for hours, and it honestly really does give you such a nice glow, so would recommend that. Also, for a little more luxe option, this is the Charlotte Tilbury mask. This is a dry mask, and you can use it up to 3 times, and it loops around your ears, and I used it before I went to a wedding earlier this year, and I was unsure on how it would work because it is a dry mask, but I actually feel like my skin was just so bright and even, and my makeup was perfect after I put it on. Like, definitely quality, and would be a good one to have on an airplane, and it's so nice that you can reuse it. Then for some like liquid masks, you've probably heard about the Caudalie one. This is the pore mask. It comes out pink and it dries up your pores, so really great for oily skin. I do believe they do a travel size in this as well. And then this is a travel size option, but you can buy the bigger one, but it is a little bit more on the expensive side. But this is the Renaissance mask for brightening and resurfacing, and I really love this one as well. I just haven't wanted to spend the money on the big one, but it really isn't too intense on your skin, but it does still give you that nice resurfacing, and I do feel quite glowy after I use it, so that's a great one. You can also do a hair mask, and again, a lot on the market. You know, Way has some really nice ones. I've used the Briogeo ones before, and those you can usually get in a travel size as well. Again, if you're not quite sure, or if you just don't want to spend the money on the full size, they can just kind of have a go at it, and usually it's enough for 2 to 3 treatments depending on how thick or long their hair is. Finally, in this category, I would recommend doing a perfume trial kit or a travel size perfume. Again, their perfumes are very personal, and even if you know the notes that someone might like, it might not always click with them. So I think that's why a perfume trial kit is always a good option. There's a bunch that they just come in like the teeny little, I think they're like 5 milliliters, but they usually come with like between 5 and 10 depending on the brand and how much you want to spend, but that gives them a bunch of options to kind of see what they might like, and also they're really good on the go to chuck in a purse or bring traveling if you are limited in your liquids, so really great option. Okay, for the book lover, I did post a little TikTok carousel of some things, but I will speak about some here. First of all, if they're an e-reader, I think any sort of Kindle stand or e-reader stand, there's the pillow versions, and then there's also the actual stands that are almost kind of like a music stand, but then you can maneuver it like over your bed. And then to pair with that, a page turner. It just comes with like a little device that clips on the side, and then you have a button and it clicks the pages for you, so it's a completely hands-free experience, and that is hands down to this day one of my favorites. Unfortunately, I did lose a piece of mine, so I need a new one, but it's really great. It changes the full experience of reading in bed for sure. Another fun one is a blind date with a book, and a lot of like independent stores sell these as well as Etsy, or you can make your own, and it's really just picking a book that you think that they would like and you wrap it up and then pair it with maybe a couple things that either they would like or for the reading experience or for matches the vibe of the genre of the book. So if they really like tea, you could put a couple tea packets with it, or some like dried flowers, or a sticker, or a bookmark, and so on. So this is really fun, and you know, you can just include the gift receipt if they happen to have already read it, but it makes it kind of more than just giving a book, if that makes sense. So If the person that you're buying for also is kind of a book collector, they started their own library, a book embosser, or a stamp to use inside their books is a really cute and personalized gift. And you can pick to put their name, you can pick kind of what sort of like image you want as well, and that just goes on the inside of each book that they have to show that this is part of their library. So that is a really cute one. You can never go wrong with bookmarks either. That would be a really great stocking stuffer. Etsy has a bunch of cute ones, but honestly the bookstores sell some pretty good ones too. But definitely have a browse on Etsy because you can get some really like niche ones and some very decorative ones as well. The final two are, one would be like a special edition version of a book if you know that they like a series, an author, or specific books. I got the Twilight one for myself. Additionally, for my best friend, I always buy her special edition Harry Potters. So for example, when I went to Japan, I bought her one of her favorite of the Harry Potters in the Japanese version, and then also like Minnie Lima creates really cool Harry Potter ones. But definitely just have a browse on Google to see if there are any special editions of a book you know that they love, because it is a really stunning piece, but also a really good collector's item to have. And lastly would be some sort of book subscription box. I know a lot do fixed amount of months, so you could buy them like a 3-month subscription, you could buy them a one-off depending on your budget, but a lot of those come with like a special edition book, or they come with kind of some things that match the genre of the book, like bookmarks or like a mug or something like that. So they're very curated and cute, so that's a good idea if you kind of know what sort of genre they generally like to read in. Okay, now we are moving on to the traveler. So if who you are buying for likes to travel a lot, there's definitely a lot of good things on the market. The first being a nice eye mask. This one is by Slip, and it is a satin eye mask, and this one has the kind of raised eye bits. And for me personally, this is the type of eye mask that I use because I don't like the pressure on the back of my eyelids, so it just surrounds the back or the orbital area, and then you have space between your eyelid and the mask. So this is a really great one for long plane rides, long car journeys, etc. To pair with that, I've definitely talked about these before. These are the heated eye masks, so they're kind of like hand warmers but for your eyes, and these are a game changer on the airplane. My eyes get really dry and irritated in general, but especially on airplanes, and so putting one of these on and this on top to trap some of that heat, it really does wonders for my eyes. So I could not recommend these enough. I actually brought some of these back after our Japan trip and I handed them out to family and friends, and my mom was obsessed with these, so definitely recommend. And they come with scented ones or unscented. I personally really like the lavender. Okay, obviously a bigger purchase could be a suitcase. Personally, we use away bags and I really love them. I think that the hard shell has really stood up to them being thrown around a lot, and the wheels work, and it has the combination on it as well, and honestly they're just tried and true. If I was going to maybe try a new luggage, I would try Base. I've heard really good things, and there's a lot of different fun colorways you can try and a lot of other accessories outside of just your classic luggage. So I would check out Base and Away. They're kind of in the same price range, I would say. Away might be a little more expensive, but good quality luggage is a very good gift and something not a lot of people really want to spend a lot of money on, but it does make a difference to have quality stuff. Now for the luggage, you can also get some nice travel packing cubes. Again, there's a ton on the market. There's Bagu, a lot of the brands make their own. There's a lot of really good ones on Amazon, Patagonia, etc. And it just is really nice to have everything kind of separated and organized in your suitcase. So those are hands down always a good shout. And honestly, I use them even in like backpacks, duffel bags, etc., not just a suitcase. So check those out. Final two would be a quality power bank. Is never a bad idea because we are all chronically on our phones and no one wants to be left with a dead phone if you were needing to pay for something in a pinch and you only have Apple Pay, or you need to call someone. So a power bank is never a bad idea either. And lastly would be a luggage tag or passport holder that is personalized with initials or their name on it. There's again a lot of really good ones on Etsy, and you can get good quality leather ones that you can get embossed with their initials or name or whatever you want to put on there. So that is a really great gift or stocking stuffer idea as well. And finally, we run to the homebody. So this is for the person that loves to stay in and have a cozy night in at home. The first gift idea for this is a nice cozy blanket. You can really find these anywhere. I mean, it's not that hard. I personally get a lot of mine from TK Maxx and they're always really top notch. I just look for the really soft one, but if you really want to go a little more luxury, I would recommend going for a Barefoot Dreams blanket. They're so soft and luxurious, and it's just, again, something that maybe someone wouldn't necessarily spend the money on for themselves, so it would be a good gift to give and to receive. Another one is a good quality home speaker. This one is Bose, and I've had this for years, since I think college or before, and it still stands up. This one is actually waterproof, and yeah, it's really quality. I think that Bose specifically is always good, but you could go Sony as well or something else on the market, but a good quality home speaker is always nice to have, whether you're cooking, whether you're hosting guests, whether you're cleaning the house, etc. You need one. Also, if you're like me, I love having a good smelling house, especially when you have a dog. Giving any candle, a diffuser, incense is always also a very nice gift and doesn't usually break the bank, although you can find some spendy ones. So I've talked about these before. These are the incense sticks that I've been using by Gentle Habits, and these are very fragrant and last quite a while. Also, recently I bought these Saint Eval tea light candles, which they also make big candles, but I feel like I really get good bang for the buck with these tea candles. These are made in Cornwall, and this is their winter scent, winter time. I also have the orange and cinnamon, and this smells just like a Christmas tree, and they last for hours. And honestly, if I just set these not lit in this room, the room smells like the candle. So a good quality candle. You could pair it with a cute little box of matches as well, or a cute lighter if you would like. And you know, who doesn't love a good smelling house, you know? I think also a good quality pair of house slippers are really nice, especially if you live in a colder climate, to keep your feet warm. And these specifically, these are Murphy's well-loved barber slippers, and they have the shearling on the inside, and he's had these for quite a few years and they've really stood up. And I like the ones that also have the bottoms like this so that you're not slipping and sliding everywhere. So honestly, whatever gender, slippers are always a good shout as well. Finally would be some LED pillar candles that like flicker, and this is just a really nice like ambiance setter and something that's a good gift if maybe someone doesn't like regular candles burning, or again just kind of likes that cozy vibe to add. And you can find these a lot of places. I think Amazon has a lot of decent ones, and you just put batteries in them. But what's nice is that they have like a little moving flicker, so they look like a real candle, but they're not. I'm actually probably going to pick a few of these up and put them in our fireplace in the living room, which isn't a working fireplace, but just like to put a couple and like set the tone, if you know what I mean. But anyway, that is just a few of my ideas for different types of people in your life. Let me know if you'll be picking up any of these, and if you're interested, you can go check out the other holiday gift guide I did last year, and honestly, those recommendations still stand true today, but these are just some of the other ideas that I have that are a little bit different. So let me know if you're picking any of these up, and I will see you in a video very soon.